What is unusual about this rock is it seems to be about the same height and dimensions as the LEM itself. And in Apollo 17, being that it was the very end of what they were doing, I can well imagine that they probably buried the equipment in this rock just to hide it all before they got rid of all of the items on the set. Here's another anomaly that'll keep the guys laughing. What we have is the Fisher space pen, the famous pen that they used on all of the Apollo missions. And if you look at the details of this particular pen, it is rated at 45 psi inside using a compressed nitrogen canister inside the pen, and that gives it the ability to write upside down.
Is an astronaut pen. It writes upside down. They use this in space.
Oh, wow, that's the astronaut pen.
Yeah.
I heard about that. Where did you get it?
That was a gift.
'Cause a lot of times I write in bed, and I have to turn and lean on my elbow to make the pen work.
And that's all fine and dandy. However, because it has a small nitrogen canister in there, that canister is only capable of going to an elevation of 12,500 feet because of the low atmospheric pressure. If it goes higher than that, that little nitrogen canister is going to blow up.
Space pen. All the way to the top of Everest.
However, in the Apollo documents, we have an astronaut that actually wrote in the cue cards, and it clearly states that he wrote this at the base of the ladder before he got back in the LEM.
Houston, before we close out our EVA, probably one of the most significant things we can think about when we think about Apollo is that it has opened for us being the world, a challenge of the future. The door is now cracked, but the promise of that future lies in the young people, not just in America, but the young people all over the world, learning to live and learning to work together. In order to remind all the peoples of the world in so many countries throughout the world that this is what we all are striving for in the future. America's challenge of today has forged man's destiny of tomorrow. And as we leave the moon in Taurus Littrow, we leave as we came, and God willing, as we shall return, with peace and hope for all mankind. Godspeed to crew of Apollo 17.
That particular rock has some very unusual anomalies. On the right-hand side of that photograph, okay, when it's being shot around to the other side, you can see that they needed to use a form, and the dirt is very, very smooth, and you can see the curve of it. They actually had to put probably a plywood form up there to hold the dirt in place to create this particular piece of equipment. What is unusual about this rock is it seems to be about the same height and dimensions as the LEM itself. Unusual about this rock is it seems to be about the same height and dimensions as the LEM itself. And in Apollo 17, being that it was the very end of what they were doing, I can well imagine that they probably buried the equipment in this rock just to hide it all before they got rid of all of the items on the set. Absolutely amazing dimensions of this thing, even right down to the legs and everything else on this particular rock. Simply would house a LEM. And they did spend a lot of time around it and took a lot of photographs of it.
What amazes me is that when you take the LEM and you superimpose it over Tracy's rock, the one leg that sticks out on the corner, it almost matches with the leg of the LEM.
That's right. And if you look at the details in the top of it, you can see pieces of metal sticking out. You can even see an area where it matches where the secondary strut would come in on a leg. Pretty amazing. Just another Apollo 17 anomaly.
Oh, and there's Challenger. Holy smoly.